Welcome to LaughNapkin. Today I have 3 stories for episode 20 of r/EntitledParents. So hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and let's get into it. That's a nice Pokemon. Give it to my son because girls shouldn't play Pokemon. I was talking with an old friend a couple hours ago and this story came up. Thought it would be nice to share. Back in 2013, it was around spring break and there was a local tournament at the local Geek Plaza. People playing card games like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! Plus other video games like Smash Bros. And Halo. Prize was nothing extraordinary. Just a coupon giving you a free meal for 2 at local restaurant, and some other coupons giving you discounts to other things like movie theaters or Pizza Hut. So most people participating are just in for the battles and competition. Here we used a local rule banning most OP Pokemon like Mewtwo in order to keep things more or less equal. But we still allowed other powerful Pokemon, pseudo-legendaries, to participate. Not going to get into too much detail, but in order to get the best competitive Pokemon, you normally have to either breed a Pokemon until it produces an offspring with the characteristics you want, or if it's a legendary event Pokemon, you save in front of them and keep resetting the game until you get it with the stats you want. Also possible to get are shiny Pokemon, variations of Pokemon with a different color. Many players spend hours breeding or resetting their games in order to get one. I was lucky at the past generation, Diamond Pearl, and managed to get a rare Pokemon Darkrai with a shiny coloration after less than 50 resets. Nature wasn't ideal, but I was proud of it. At this Geek Plaza, there was a pretty obnoxious and rude kid that usually battled everyone with a full team of legendaries. Let's call the kid Fish, since he was somewhat bug-eyed, no glasses, all natural, and for some reason had his mouth open most of the time, like a fish. I don't think he had asthma or some other breathing problem, since he was very well capable of screaming insults. Fish spent most days trash-talking other players, and defeating them with his all-legendary team, and since he was around 10-11 years old, I think his voice had yet to break. Nobody told him anything, even if he was annoying. But the moment any of the top players challenged him, he would back down and say something like, "I don't want to play against you, you cheat." Yep, in his mind, anyone that could defeat him with a normal team was a cheater. For some reason, Fish never attempted to challenge me, or even spoke to me. I suppose it was just because it was weird to see a girl hanging out with guys, and he was just shy. Tournament day. Obviously Fish tried to participate, but the judge didn't allow him since his entire team was full of legendaries, and didn't have enough normal Pokemon trained, at least to put together a team with them. Some tantrums and cries from both him and his mother later, one of the judges has to come up with an ultimatum. He can act civilized like the rest of the players here and is welcome to watch, or he will have to leave the premises. Neither Fish or his mother are happy, but they accept. Fish almost immediately goes on to battle some of the younger players and wrecks their teams in out-of-tournament matches and calls them weak and stupid. Fish was sitting that moment next to me in the floor and was insulting the kid, probably younger than him, that was playing with him. I tried intervening to get him to act nicer to the other kid. Me. You should stop that. I don't think you would like if someone insulted you. No? Fish just stares at me for about 10 seconds without saying anything until he blurts out, "You don't even play. Stop telling me what to do." Me. Sorry? I know girls usually don't play Pokemon, but I assure you I play. Look. I take out my DS and show him my game of Pokemon Black 2. Open one of the in-game PCs and show him my teams. Me. See? I have a game and a team just like you. As I'm showing him my Pokemon, I pass over my shiny Darkrai and his eyes lit like effing stadium lights. "Hey, can you return for a second?" I go back, and once the shiny Darkrai is once again in view, he stops me and the 21 questions and answers begin. "Where did you get it? How did you get it? How long did it take you?" Normal questions that other players are asked. Once I finish explaining everything, he stays quiet for a bit before he says, "I want it." I start telling him that he could try his luck in the Pokemon Dream Radar app to look for one, when he interrupts me. "No, I want that one. All the others are normal colored and it's obvious you don't use it since you don't really play. Otherwise, you would be using it. Me. I'm sorry, but even if I don't use it, it's one of my favorite Pokemons and I'm not really interested in trading it. Fish. Not trading, you dumbwit. Just give it to me. You're a girl and girls don't play Pokemon. I need it more than you. Not in the mood to deal with that rude kid and at my limit. I have a really bad temper, and if I lost it, I was afraid I would end up saying things I would regret. I close my game and rise up from the floor where we were sitting. One of my friends asked me if everything's okay, and I tell him that I'm not okay and I'm gonna grab a drink in the vending machine and stay away cooling down. That to please tell one of the judges that I'm outside. I grab my drink and sit in one of the benches and start drinking slowly, still fuming. Not even 5 minutes later, there comes Fish all teary-eyed and with a woman that I assume was his mother. She comes all angry too and in Karen mode. Karen, excuse me. The voice. When I heard r/ doing his impression, I was sure it was this woman. Back to topic, I was still somewhat angry and trying my damn hardest to not blow this out of proportion. I fail miserably. Me. What? Karen. Don't speak to me like that. Although, what manners can I expect of an effing thief? Me. What the F? Lady, what the F are you talking about? Yeah, my manners and language were terrible. No need to point that out. Karen. Don't pretend. You stole that game and one of my son's Pokemons. You should be ashamed of stealing, even more because you're a girl. Me. Okay. In the first place, I have not stolen from anyone since I bought that game last year, and the Pokemon in question is one I got 3 years ago. You can ask any of the older players about it, and they will tell you the same. Karen, I'm not gonna ask anything to anyone because they will obviously cover for you since you must be sleeping with everyone here. Me, what? Karen, I mean, what other reason would there be for a girl to be here? Girls don't play video games or Pokemon. Me, lady, say one more damn thing and... Luckily, I wasn't allowed to finish the sentence, since my friend and one of the judges came to get me. Apparently, my friend saw Fish and his mom make a beeline after me, and he deduced that there would be some problems. To not make the story even longer, the judge heard everything and told the mother that I had been a regular at that plaza for almost 10 years, and that it was my game. And I was a good enough player to be able to compete in tournaments, and that kind of accusation she was saying was pretty serious and wouldn't be tolerated. She and her kid were then banned from the plaza and asked to never come back again. Fish would try to sneak into the plaza a couple times more that day, but either one of the judges or store owners would notice him and ask him to leave, otherwise they would call one of the security guards from the plaza. I went on to be eliminated in the 3rd round out of 8. But besides Karen and Fish, I had a great day. After all, they were banned for life from that plaza since this wasn't the first time causing trouble. Sadly, about a year later, my Pokemon game was stolen when someone broke into my car and stole it from the glove compartment, along with the DS, some pocket change, and the dashboard bobblehead cat. Never got it back, but I have managed to since then retain most of my Pokemon, including another Darkrai, although not shiny. Thank you for your time reading this. My son will not be moving. Anywhere. Hi again. Basically, if you've been here before, you'll know that my eldest sister is a flight attendant, and has a lot of entitled stories that I will be sharing on Reddit. This is one of my personal favorites that my sister tells me at every holiday dinner. My sister was working a flight from London Airport to Geneva or Benidorm, can't remember and honestly isn't important. It was a midday flight and would get to its destination before nightfall, so it was a simple routine flight to a typical British holiday location. Everyone had sat down and my sister was stood in the middle of the plane, being one of 2 or 3 flight attendants doing the safety features. While they all turned their back to grab the yellow life vest from the overhead bins to demonstrate, a sneaky kid must have left his seat at the back of the plane to sit in the flight attendant seats that are kinda like the seats in Cineworld, folds up when no one sat in them. At this moment in time, the plane is not moving because there's a slight delay to the order of the runway and the plane had to wait. She finished the safety features and is checking that everyone has their seatbelts on when her colleague calls her to the back of the plane. It's a plane with 2 seats on either side of the plane, so it's fairly small. A woman is laying on her chair in one of the back rows, her seat reclined and the chair next to her empty. My sister's colleague, OFA, other flight attendant, is gently tapping the woman to get her to put her seat in the upright position for takeoff, and my sister is confused about the empty seat, considering she was also at the boarding desk and boarded a full flight. Entitled mom jumps up, obviously fake, and pulls off her eye mask, doing one of those overdramatic yawns which my sister acts perfectly. Other flight attendant: sorry miss, but in order for the plane to take off, your seat needs to be upright. The woman looks annoyed and nods and sorts out her seat. Other flight attendant goes first to the back of the plane and jumps back in fright. My sister goes after her, wondering what the issue is. Lying across 2 of those flight attendant seats, right at the back of the plane, is entitled kid, looking up, playing on his tablet. Other flight attendant tries to get her breath back. Sister: sorry little dude, but you can't sit there, and you need to go back to your seat so we can get going. Entitled kid: mommy said I could lie down here. Sister: sorry little man, but no can do. Can you go back to your mom? Entitled kid: mom! Entitled mom: what seems to be the issue? Sister: these seats are for flight attendants only and your son is taking them up. Take him back to his seat. At this rate, other flight attendant is reaching for wrist ties because flight attendants have training in tying up passengers in them. Entitled mom: there is no problem with my child wanting to sleep. It's an inconvenience for me when my child leans on me to sleep, so I told him he could sleep back there. Sister: he can't sleep here. Get back to your seats or you'll be escorted off the plane. Entitled mom: no, you should go out of your way to make passengers comfortable so my son will not be moving anywhere. She's swaying side to side even though the plane is not moving. Sister: miss, are you drunk? Entitled mom: how dare you accuse me of such a thing? This is outrageous and I'll be complaining to your boss. She's slurring and my sister can barely understand. She takes a few steps towards my sister, glaring, and raises her hand. Other flight attendant steps in, grabs both of entitled mom's hands, and locks them into zip ties while sister calls the captain at the front to tell them what happened and they're going to need to offload 2 passengers. Thankfully, they only had hand luggage, cabin luggage, and they didn't need to dig through luggage in the aircraft hold. While waiting for police to arrive, entitled mom screams bloody murder while little smug entitled kid refuses to get off the seats. Eventually, a police officer bribes him with a Snicker and he walks off the plane beside his mom. At this point, the flight had been delayed for a little less than an hour. The pilots are pissed and most of the passengers are loud and angry. My sister said it was her favorite, sarcastic, flight to work. I moved out for a reason, Mom. I can't escape her. I'm so tired. I've lived alone with my mother in Ohio since my dad left and I was in middle school, save for 2013-2015. I'm now 24, and recently I admitted to myself that she's been getting worse and worse and I have to leave. This past January, I packed my bags and bought a one-way ticket to Florida where my boyfriend is. Guess who followed? By pure coincidence, her boyfriend lived less than 2 hours drive from mine. Unsurprisingly, however, he bailed soon after meeting her. So now she's homeless and an easy drive away, living out of her car, working in a dead-end retail job she had since 2011. She was going to keep our cat because her boyfriend was going to house them both, so of course I ended up with it while I was staying with my boyfriend's parents. Miracle they allowed it. The following is what she's told me, but I can't assume is true. After her boyfriend won bail, she's been using Tinder and found a guy she instantly clicked with. He's a journalist, political cartoonist from Egypt, a political refugee in the process of naturalization, with almost all his money inaccessible back home with his brother. He shares an apartment with a roommate who's moved elsewhere but his son is staying there. and due to their Arabic culture, he's basically forbidden from letting a woman stay in his house lest he face blackmail from the roommate. She needs a Florida ID to apply for some new jobs. Also, I got a job here with my old ID, and needs a mailing address to get one. Her boyfriend insists that her family, me, provides her an address. Another cultural thing, even though apparently the man is expected to provide for the woman. But my place is not just mine, and I can't risk her moving in or being convicted of postal fraud. Yet she will not stop badgering me for my address no matter how many times I say no. Now she's saying even her boyfriend doesn't have an address because he canceled his lease without having another place lined up. Today is my boyfriend's birthday, and now all I'll worry about is how to deal with my mom. She's the reason I nearly couldn't get a lease. I had co-signed our last place, and apparently my rent history says it was left torn apart and 3 months behind on rent. Rent wasn't behind by the time I left, and she was only there a month, so I have no idea how she did that. She also never canceled the utilities. She had also completely drained any savings I had, forcing me to pay the whole rent every month while she ate McDonald's 3 to 4 times a day. I wish I were exaggerating. No one in her family will take her either because she completely alienated them. I'm not asking for advice, I'm just so tired and figured you would be sympathetic here. Thanks for reading.
Well, that about wraps it up. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and bell. By the way, I just started a Discord server for anyone looking to be part of the LaughNapkin community. Link in the description below. See you next time.